What's up everybody, my name is Vincent. Welcome to Cryptolution, where we talk about everything under the moon in the crypto universe. Today's Monday, December 8th, and today's dog video. I want to share with you what happened over the weekend because a lot has happened over the weekend. We have Mark Yusco from Morgan Creek Capital sharing alpha on why he's bullish on not just dog, but the Runes protocol. Because he's sharing with you these early signals, this is what happens before mainstream adoption does happen. He's done this with Bitcoin, and now he's saying the exact same thing about dog and Runes. But not only that, dog has been reaching all across crypto Twitter, especially at Binance Blockchain Week. Also, Portal, they raised around $25 million in seed funding. And obviously, we're going to be looking into charting and analysis because we're seeing for the very first time a breakout of the descending trend line, which we've been waiting for months, probably up to like around 6 months. I want to dive deep into that. Let's not waste any time. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X. Please be careful with any of the scammers down in the comments below. I'll never reach out via WhatsApp, Telegram, direct messaging, or email, so please be careful and invest safely. Guys and girls, let's get right into it. Okay, so right now, dog Bitcoin is hovering still around 110 million market cap and higher. Now, Bitcoin has actually experienced a ton of volatility. Look at Bitcoin right now. It used to be at around 89,000 as of yesterday. As of this morning, around 92,000, then flash crash back to around 90 to 89,000. And I want you to keep in mind that in 2 days away from now is the December 10th Fed meeting where they're gonna announce a Fed rate cut. And I will share with you, as I've shared with you many times at the end of the video, why this may not be bullish or bearish, or it could be both, but I'll share with you my opinion so you can be best prepared for either scenario. Now let's look at the meme coin market. Looks like it's just kind of trading sideways, nothing too crazy, nothing's really gained a lot of momentum, nothing's really pumping too hard. You know what's really funny is that Bitwise just announced that potentially they're gonna launch an ETF for Fartcoin, and it didn't even go up even a 1%. It's actually down almost close to around 2% at the time of this recording. So even with that announcement, we're not actually seeing anything happening with Fartcoin. Now, when we scroll down to dog Bitcoin, it's still hovering around Memecoin. By the way, Memecoin does have an ETF with Canary Capital, and it still cannot flip the #1 Bitcoin meme coin community. This just goes to show you that when you have 100% community base infrastructure compared to, insiders that have a lot of Memecoin in their portfolio, it cannot outweigh how the performance of dog is doing. So give yourself credit out there, and this is why we show up every single day. And I'm going to share with you why dog still is gaining a lot more momentum, because just as of a couple days ago, we saw that Portal just raised $25 million from a hedge fund called GTSA Global. Now, keep in mind, Portal has previous investments by Coinbase Ventures and OKX Ventures. Now, if people are saying that Runes are dead, then why is there still being money funneling into the Runes infrastructure for Ordinals, for Bitcoin DeFi? Because that's just how things are. When people FUD a protocol or a new blockchain, I mean, that's really good press. One of the things that I fear the most is when nobody talks about you and then you're forgotten. We kind of saw this happen with Alkanes and also with BRC20, which even now today is BRC 2.0, and still not a lot of people are talking about it. And that's the worst things that people could ever fear. But I'm going to share with you why people are still talking about Runes today. But before we get there, let's talk about Gemini. So Gemini, as you've noticed, ever since September 5th all the way to December 5th, which was just 3 days ago, notice the amount of engagement that you, the dog army, has requested a spot listing on Gemini. Now, this is all the dog army. So if you look at the estimated posts, it's been increasing by a lot, from 125, 175, 275. Now, the reason that's important is because each post really absolutely matters, okay? Because you mentioned Gemini in your post, but here at the bottom is the most important. Look how many likes you've been doing on these Gemini posts. So every single post that you get, you're seeing an increased volume from 4,000, 1,100 to 49,000 as of November through December. Look at the amount of reposts, same thing. It started off at around 1,000, then to 2,600. Now today, the repost, by the way, is around 11,000 plus. That's a lot of reposts if you think about it. And we're garnering a lot of exposure in terms of reach, and also we are the loudest voice across Gemini's ecosystem. As you've noticed over the past 24 hours, 7 days, 1 month, 3 months, and now soon, year to date, you can see that our voice is capturing that amount of mind share and reach. Now, I guarantee you Gemini is paying attention, but you have to peer pressure Gemini. That's up to us to do this. Once they see the demand, they have to give us what we want, because we're the real community. If they don't list us and all of a sudden they list another token that obviously has no engagement, that has no community, then we're going to call out Gemini for that, because that seems unfair. Does Gemini support the free fur movement? Well, we will pay attention and keep showing up. Even today, I still am starting the campaign of the 20-day challenge. Yes, 20 days deploying 0.10 Bitcoin into Kraken every day that Gemini does not list dog. When that 0.10 can go into Gemini for the next 20 days, that would be amazing, but they're not doing it. So as of today, deposit around 0.14 BTC into dog on Kraken. So Gemini, I hope you're listening. Okay, let's talk about some other news that's going on with dog. So if you didn't notice, Binance Blockchain Week just occurred. And if you've noticed on this wall, what do you see? There is runes and dog mentioned 4, possibly multiple different times. Remember, this is a wall that CZ was taking pictures of, and these are the only pictures I found online. It started off with Leonidas pointing this specific photo out, and then I found more. Now, the reason this image is very important is because people around the world show that they love dog, that they love runes. I don't know who wrote this, but the fact is, it doesn't really matter. The fact is, there is somebody out there and people out there around the world that love this token so much. Do you see Pengu on this wall? Do you see Fartcoin on this wall? Do you see Mogcoin on this wall? That's the difference. And what I'm trying to doing is not just getting degens or people from Solana to buy into dog. It's really bringing in real life people who are the 1%. And who is the 1%? Mark Yusco. So if you've noticed, now 4 years ago, this specific clip, Mark Yusco attended CNBC. Now I want to play this clip for you really quick because notice the doubt that the news anchors have against Mark Yusco's thoughts around Bitcoin's price when it was at $8,000 and today it hit as high as $124,000 as an all-time high. I'll play this clip right now.
Here we go. Bitcoin was under 8,000 earlier today.
Buy it.
Regardless though of the drop, if I said to you Bitcoin dropped to 5,000, you'd say buy it.
Buy it. Because here's the thing, the daily price of Bitcoin doesn't matter. It's been alive for 10 years. In every year, other than one, 2015, it's made a higher low. The market cap has grown every single year. Every fundamental indicator of Bitcoin, usage, wallets, block size, transaction size, number of transactions, every single one, hash rate, making new highs. All of the indicators of the network and the network value are rising. The price of any asset fluctuates. Let's take Amazon. Amazon's been a public company for 20 years. In every year, including this year, it's at a double-digit drawdown. The average peak to trough, minus 31%. Twice, minus 90%. When was the right time to sell? Never. Who's owned it since the IPO to today? Jeff and his mom and dad. That's it.
All right. We're going to leave it there, Mark.
All right,
good to
thanks.
see you.
Thanks for having
Mark
me.
Yusco, Morgan Creek Capital.
And guess what? Over the weekend, Mark Yusco went back on Wealthian's YouTube channel during an interview and mentioned dog and runes and why it's important to have on-chain assets on Bitcoin.
Like, I'm a believer in runes, and like, you know, the guys will love me. I'll say dog. You know, I like dog go to the moon. And I'm like, how could you like that's just a meme coin? I'm like, yeah, but it's a meme coin on the right chain. And what do I mean by that? I'm a big proof of work guy. Proof of stake has it. To me, it's too close to the old system. He who has the gold makes the rules. I like proof of work, right? You have to do the work. And so I own a couple NFTs and, you know, dubious value. What is value? It's in the eye of the beholder. But they're worth something, you know, thousands of dollars, whatever. Yeah. I don't want them on a chain that points to an AWS server. Mm-hmm. That's not on chain. That's kind of on chain.
Totally.
I want it on chain. Like my PFP is on the Bitcoin blockchain. Now there are those who say, well, that's polluting the chain. I'm like, why? I mean, it's there. It's not causing any stress.
I was not expecting for you to come on here and talk about runes of all things. And those
essentially,
those are, for the people who don't know, those are inscriptions on Bitcoin itself, canonical. And there's a debate. Do you debase beautiful Bitcoin?
Absolutely a debate.
I think it's fine. Like, I have a couple myself. I don't know if they're worth anything, but that was the last thing I was thinking that you're going to talk about.
And the thing about it is the idea of it is so logical. Right? If you think about it, if everything's going to be digital, every stock, every bond, every currency, every commodity, every piece of fine art, every building, every private business, if ownership, not the physical thing, but if the ownership and the digital identity, like my driver's license, my marriage license, my passport, if all of that's going to be digital, I kind of like the idea that it's on a chain that can't be seized, can't be corrupted, can't be hacked, can't be turned off.
Okay, so now that you saw that, what is your consensus? Well, my consensus is if Mark Yusco can spot Bitcoin early on before the mainstream media, before the mainstream masses catch on to it, and he's saying the exact same thing about dog, runes, ordinals, and on-chain assets on Bitcoin, aka Bitcoin DeFi, what do you think is going to happen? Yes, you are absolutely correct to assume that he, just like Kraken, the data researchers, the hedge funds, the people who really study markets on a day-to-day basis know that eventually everybody's going to funnel and FOMO into dog, runes, and ordinals. This is just a fact of what's going on. So just as a closing statement around that, remember, he said Bitcoin 4 years ago was undervalued by Bitcoin at around 4,000. Then you see him talking about dog Bitcoin on the Wealthian channel saying this is where people are going to be going, not these other, blockchains that have like servers which can be pretty much taken down. You've seen NFTs taken down and their image is gone because they're not on chain. So just focus on this. I'm giving you the early signal right now. And this is why we have to be very grateful for Kraken. So Kraken, if you don't know, is possibly the top exchange around the world. And why do I say that? Yes, Binance may have more trading volume, it may have more customer base around the world, but know that Kraken is becoming the top US-based exchange right now in the United States, even surpassing Coinbase and even Gemini. And the reason that's important is because Kraken is now becoming the most preferred exchange around the world. They have the most exposure in multiple different countries, and they have a great track record. They're based in the US, and if anything, you can swap over 450 cryptocurrencies across all chains to buy in exchange for dog. So that's just the amazing thing. It has the most amount of trading pairs than any other exchange, except for like BitGet. BitGet has like 800. But just keep that in mind. This is amazing. So as much as we're chasing Coinbase and Gemini, we may already have the best exchange right now in the United States. This is by far amazing data to share with you. Now let's get into the charting analysis. What have I noticed? I have noticed that dog Bitcoin has broken out of early the descending blue trend line. So what am I seeing right here? I'm seeing potentially a reversal, potentially. Now the thing is, if you can see right here, this green line, this is December 10th. This is the December 25 basis point rate cut that's happening on December 10th. Now, what I'm thinking is this could be a fake out because remember back in September and October, we had rate cuts as well. But those rate cuts ended up sending Bitcoin down along with the meme coin market and altcoin market. So it's complete fake out. So this time, will it be different? Will the long traders instead short the market, meaning the retail traders short the market, and then the big manipulators do a short squeeze and liquidate all the short sellers? Or is everybody going to long Bitcoin again and get liquidated, which would send the Bitcoin price down? So that's the only thing I'm kind of paying attention to. But nonetheless, what I'm seeing in the MACD is that we're still heading upwards, regardless of this dip to the downside. I'm still seeing that we're going back up. So eventually, once we cross over this purple line, which is very important, that's when we are in a bull market. Now, before we close off this video, I just want to remind everybody, Monday, December 15th, which is next Monday at around 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or 6 p.m. GMT time. Now, we're going to be with blockchain. When I mean we, Leonidas and I are going to be with blockchain.com to discuss and educate everybody about DOG, about the Runes protocol, you name it. It's going to be an open discussion. And the reason this is important is because blockchain.com has 1.3 million followers. They have a large audience. So my job, what I want to do as a volunteer, as a community leader within DOG Bitcoin, is not just onboarding people from Solana, Cardano, BNB. It's really just educating, because once people hear what DOG is and what it's about to do, and also the Runes protocol, it's kind of a no-brainer. And since everything's kind of dying out right now with these other meme coin communities, they're going to want to look for something refreshing. So we're actually coming back. This is almost exactly what happened in April of 2024 when Runes protocol first came out. That hype is coming back, and you're here at the right time, at the right moment. So ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts down below. You already know that I'm very bullish on DOG, but gosh, how amazing has it been over the weekend to see DOG appearing at Binance Blockchain Week and also seeing Mark Yusco being so bullish on dog and also on-chain assets on Bitcoin, such as Ordinals and other Rune protocols, right? And you also see what's going on with the charting analysis that eventually things are going to flip to the upside. But do not ignore what Mark Yusco is seeing. Do not ignore what Kraken is doing. They are pretty much paying attention heavily on what's going on in this sector, and you cannot ignore what they are seeing way ahead before the masses. So if you're watching this video, you are the 1% way ahead of everybody else. These are the most infamous stories that we hear when people get into Dogecoin, Shiba Inu, Bonk, Dog, Whiffat, you name it, right before they pump. You can say that you were here at the right time, and luckily, I'm just so glad to be here with you, and just let me know your thoughts down below, how excited you are about Dog Bitcoin. So with that said, smash up that like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join us on X to receive all of our alpha calls and updates regarding Dog and Moon. Till then, see you guys girls next time.